Praga, amor.
Bora pra água. Tá quentinho, tá quentinho. É uma praga.
Here we go again.
Hey, let's go.
Muito perto da água.
Sorry for the delay, folks. Welcome aboard, everybody. If anybody wants to get married, it can do fairly reasonable now, okay? To the right there is the O2. That's where we have concerts. Beside the Ferris wheel, and the little boat, the red boat, is a lighthouse boat. But the tall ships used to come up the River Liffey there, in through these 3 locks, and unload all the goods onto barges. And the barges would have been pulled by horses then. What you're in now is the Grand Canal Basin. And this was dug out over 200 years ago. It's about 20 feet deep and the bottom of it is perfectly tiled. There's about 150 million gallons of water in this basin. And there's lots of wildlife underneath us. There's even 2 types of whales underneath us. There's the bicycle whale and the trolley whale. We'll put it into full speed and see, here we go. And we won't turn it off. Right here, the small building, the larger building and the grey building. They're U2's recording studios, and everything they've ever recorded has been done in them studios, except for Octoon Baby was recorded in Berlin. And the graffiti on the walls and the trucks, they must be sending the stuff off somewhere at the moment. The graffiti on the walls are from fans from around the world. They've messages like U2 are getting better. U2 is the #1 band in the world. One says U2 is my God. One even says that Bono, you are Jesus. But you know what the difference between Bono and Jesus is? Jesus doesn't think he's Bono. He was meant to have bought one of the apartments over to the left here. And if you get up early enough on a Monday morning, you'll see him walking across the water and into work. Beyond the studios on the right hand side, the stone building down there, that was the stables where they used to keep the horses for pulling the barges. But now it's a private residence. You look over to the right again, the black and white building was going to be one of our newest 5-star hotels, but our economy went down and it sits there empty at the moment. Beside it is the Grand Canal Theatre, and we brought over a designer from New York to design the outside of this. Can anybody guess what she called the red poles? She said that the red poles were trees, and that the green benches were grass, and that the whole thing was an urban forest. It looks really nice tonight, doesn't it? Over to the right hand side again, the bridge there, that's not the original bridge. There was a lifting bridge there and it would have been operated from the top in a cabin. And in 1929 a boat hit a tram there, and it's the only known location in the world that a boat has ever hit a tram. So we're famous for something, you know. Look to the right again, the Boland's Flour Mills, that old building over there on the right hand side. In 2005 that building was sold for €40 million. It's a listed building, and the only part they would have been able to take down is the concrete piece in the centre. And that lies there empty as well. The Ocean Bar here to the right, a 2-bedroom apartment up there would have cost you €2 million during our boom years. But you're always guaranteed to lift home from the bar as well. continued. There would have been 25,000 people living on the water's edge. Over to the left where the warehouses, they were building the U2 Tower. It would have been the tallest building in Dublin, and they would have moved the studios from there to the top 2 floors. But they took the cranes down 3 weeks ago, so that's not going ahead either.
Where was that at?
Just behind the units here. We're building the warehouses on the left. If you look to the right, the boat on the right, the grey, greeny boat, is over 60 years old. And can anybody guess what it's made out of? There was a shortage of steel during the war, and they made these boats out of concrete. There's 2 or 3 of them in the basin.
Yeah.
Boat on the right hand side is called the Navana, and that was used to go from Galway to the Aran Islands to bring goods, people, livestock. But at the time the Aran Islands didn't have any port, so when they got to the Aran Islands they would have to row in their own boats, pick the people up and row back in. Livestock would have been just dropped in the sea and would have to swim in. But when they built these apartments, the people eventually complained that the state of the ship outside their front window. So the company eventually painted it. But they only painted the far side of it. If we look at the little boat here, the Ballycotton lifeboat, that's called the Mary Stafford. And in 1936 she was called out on a rescue. A lighthouse boat had broken its moorings, the lake were on board. The waves were 128 feet high, and that boat spent 50 hours out at sea. But it did rescue the 8 men. And it's the only boat in the history of the Aran or Lloyd that has ever received a medal or an award. The crew also received awards as well. And then beside that is another concrete boat.